guys, I'm Dariany Santana, and this is Barcode Unplugged, and I'm here with Jordan, a.k.a. Icon.
How you doing?
I'm amazing. How are you, Jordan?
I am very good.
Now, obviously, you're new to this game, but you're not.
Yes, that's true. I've been DJing since I was 11 years old, and I started producing when I was 13.
But your music history goes
Yes.
even more beyond that.
I've loved music ever since I was little, whether it's on the radio or at family parties. But it wasn't until those grades like 6th grade, 7th grade, when you have to pick electives in school and you have to pick arts. So I picked obviously band because I'm such in a musically inclined family. So all that exposure kind of gave me that idea that I loved music and I wanted to make music.
Okay, you talk about band. I know in middle school and high school you were part of band.
Yes.
But let's talk about all the instruments you play because it's not
Yes.
just like a harmonica.
So I remember in 6th grade in our general music class, we had a new teacher and she wanted to teach us all of the other instruments. So me being a musically inclined student, I just wanted to learn them all as much as I could. So I can play the guitar, I can play the bass, I can play the drums, I can play the piano, the ukulele, the saxophone, and percussion, and yeah.
The ukulele.
Yeah.
Have you found that the use of the ukulele have you ever put that into a song? Do you want to?
I could just sample it and just easily use it.
So speaking of sampling it, because you play instruments, you can sample your own instruments. Do you do that all the time?
Of course. All you have to do is set up your mic and you just play in your room and fix the audio to whatever you want it to be, and that's your own sample.
Talk to me about this album. This is a big deal. It's your
Yes.
first ever album.
So Universal is what I'm calling it. It is an album of just my beats. There's no vocals. There's no one singing over it. It's just my beats. And the purpose of it is because music itself is universal. It's not. It can be shared. It's meant to be shared all over the world, and it can be done by anybody, whether it's like tapping on a desk or humming to yourself. And it's also meant as a diversity because everyone around the world shares music differently. There's different types of music, different genres of music. So because I don't really seclude myself to one genre of music, I think that Universal is the perfect name because I myself am diverse with my musical knowledge.
So you're diverse with your musical knowledge, but also you're a child of Latinos.
Yes.
You were raised by Latinos in a very Latin
Yes.
area. So do you feel like that influence really is a part of your sound?
Yes, being raised in a Latino family and not only being in a Latin neighborhood, but also having that little streets and hip hop side, I think that's definitely part of my cultural influence when I'm making music because I can do both. Or, yeah.
So, okay, because I know you've dropped 2 songs already. I know one of
Yes.
them is Oye Mami.
Yes.
The other one is called Dream. Talk to me about them because they have very different sounds.
Yes, so Dream is meant to take you on a trip. It's like you start off smooth, and as the song progresses, it's taking you on a journey, like usually in your dream, like when you're sleeping and you're not really staying in one place and you're kind of shifting throughout. And Oye Mami, I found that sample of the guy singing Oye Mami, and it kind of struck my ear because it's that type of upbeat that people really need right now, especially in the summer. So I just added some regular drums and some stuff, and it actually made it sound really, really good.
Who are your musical inspirations?
My musical inspirations have to be Timbaland, DJ Khaled, Pitbull, because I always loved his music, and because I'm from a Cuban family, so you have to know Mr. Worldwide.
I know this because I can't tell you how many times I would see you DJ as a kid, and I'm like, yeah, it's the 5th Pitbull song. I'm not mad at that, though, because he is Mr. Worldwide, which is universal. And listen, you're part Cuban, so that's super important. Besides musical influences, what is your biggest motivation to be a producer?
My biggest motivation is being myself because you can get lost in yourself as, you gain more followers and gain stuff. And I think that not only musically where you have to find your own sound, but you have to stay true to yourself as you grow in popularity.
A lot of people, if people were just to get to know you now, they'd see you as just a music person, but they don't know that you have really pursued being excellent at all facets of your life. How important is that like level of dedication to you becoming who you want to be today?
I think that music is a very, very important part of my life, having it be one of my biggest factors as I go throughout my life. But I also think that my education and my aspirations to go to college are also very important. So I think that me being able to do all of them at the same time and having that like feeling that you did it, I think that that's the most important part of making it to the end, because you can say that you did it all. You had the good grades, you have the perfect view of what you are, and you know who you are, as well as the musical talent.
Yeah, and I mean, you're a minority, so it's so important that you remember that as you are pursuing these things, you're simultaneously inspiring people. Is that important to you?
Yes, I think that I remember in Michael Jordan's The Last Dance, he had a quote that said, if you are following me and I inspire you, that's great. I'll keep doing it. But if you don't like what I'm doing, maybe I'm not the person you should be following. And I think that those who like what I'm doing and appreciate how I'm doing what I do, then yes, you can continue to follow me. But those that, I guess, like don't like it, then maybe I'm not the person you should be following.
Okay, so we talked about the past, we're talking about the present. I think it's very important to talk about the future, because we about to manifest some great stuff. What do you want to be when you grow up? Like, what's your number one goal?
So my number one goal is to not only be myself as a music producer and collaborate with other people, but I would also like to have my own record label, whereas I sign artists, I collaborate with people. And because I'm such a leader and I have that sort of entrepreneurship side of me that I get from parts of my family, I think that I would be really good as a head of a record label because I have all those different factors.
So you're dropping an album that is just beats, which is not the norm. When you're making your beats, in the back of your head, are you thinking, you know what, Bad Bunny could be on this? Like, do you think about which kind of artists?
Yes, there are a couple of those things where you're like, you hear the radio all the time, and you hear like what types of artists have different types of styles with their music. So definitely when I'm creating, I don't really try to focus on, okay, this is the person I want on here. It's more of like, I notice it. Whereas, wow, this actually could be. And then you go and listen back to their songs and you're like, yep, that actually sounds what I just did.
So can you play us two of the songs from the album? Because
Sure.
then I wanna dive into how those came to be.
Of course.
Let's do it. Okay, so we're gonna start with Oyamami because that is my personal favorite.
Mhm.
So the Oyamami, that's not like your abuelo didn't say that. Where
No,
did
no,
you
no.
get that
So
sound?
Oye Mami is a sample I took off of Splice.com. It came off of a pack that I used, and so that one sample is just the guy saying Oye Mami.
That's it.
That's it. So everything else I built upon under that because that's what I found first, and I was like, this could be nice once I fix it. So you'll hear the chords in the beginning. I just layered a bunch of pianos and guitars all layered together, and once I added the Oyamami, he has that rhythm, that up tempo rhythm. So I was like, all right, I'll drop the bass, the hi hats, and the kicks, and the snares and the claps, and that'll just be amazing.
In a perfect world, who would you want to be on Oyamami?
In a perfect world, Oyamami. I don't know if you know, but the Black Eyed Peas just dropped an album, and they are very famous in using vocal samples. So the Black Eyed Peas, and they just released their album is called Translation, and it's a lot of Spanish music.
Mm-hmm.
And because Oyamami is Latin, I would think that the Black Eyed Peas would do really good with that vocal sample.
Very good answer. I didn't even think of that because I didn't realize they have. I know they have a bunch of new hits and they're amazing.
Yeah.
Like Mamacita.
With Osuna, yeah.
That's my song. That makes sense. I can see. Okay, we're manifesting that as we speak because a Black Eyed Peas collab would be a very good look.
Yes.
Okay, so the next song, Dream, it is so different
It
because
is.
Oyamami is very like I was dancing in my chair when you were playing Oyamami, but Dream is a little more ethereal. It's a little more of a vibe. Talk to me about
So-
that song.
I came up with Dream's melody just from like I was playing some chords on my keyboard, and the melody kind of just came to me. So when I played it, I was like, wow, this could actually be like very like smooth and very airy feeling.
Mm-hmm.
So once I added the drums and gave it that like kick and that like heavy drum feel, I was like, yeah, once you take the drums out for the pre-chorus and for like the verses, it's perfect.
So I initially saw Dream's artwork and I loved
Yes.
it. And I want to bring that up because you didn't do that,
I did not do that.
but your brother did
Yes,
it.
he did.
Your brother is also here because he does a lot of your not only visual stuff, but he does a lot of your video stuff
Yes.
too.
A lot of my videos he has taken because you obviously, when you're doing something, you don't really like want to have to focus on how does a video work? How does this do?
No, you already do enough. You're doing the
Yes.
whole production of a
Yes.
song. So,
So I have him doing my video, my photos, all my artwork for my albums, and he's working on my album cover now.
what's that? I mean, how is that? Because I think that's so priceless to be able to work with your family and for it to be so cohesively perfect.
I think that is definitely beneficial because you can tell them what they did wrong without them getting offended.
That's true. And I'm sure you guys have like this unspoken thing, you know,
Yes.
the finishing of each other's sentences.
It's like when you see what it like the final product, and you're like, "Yep, that's it," and you both look at each other. Yeah, it's probably the best part.
That's amazing. Thus far, you've only dropped the 2 songs
Yes.
on socials.
Yes,
But you have a full album
I have
coming
all
out.
10 tracks. They're gonna drop July 10th, 2020.
Okay.
Yeah.
July 10th. Why? That's a random day. Why
So
July 10th?
I picked July 10th because it's my mom's birthday, and I think that my first album, being as I've never come out with one before, should be on a very significant date.
Yeah.
So I chose that date.
And you love your mom.
Of course.
She's a great woman.
Yes.
You love her. That's
Yes.
perfect. So it's going to be 10 tracks.
10 tracks.
And is it going to be the same kind of, is it going to be like all over the place? Like you said, universal?
It's universal, but you'll hear my how signature my sound is.
If you had to describe your signature sound, Jordan, aka Icon, what would it be?
I would say that it's very.
It's a tough question. It's a tough
That is a
question.
very tough
You don't have to use one word. You can use a bunch of different words too.
I
Your
would say that
signature sound.
my signature sound, in one word, is probably uncommon.
Uncommon.
Yeah.
All right. I messed with it. I love both songs, so I'm so excited to hear the rest of the album, which I'll be able to hear on all streaming services.
Yep, July 10th.
That means like Spotify and stuff.
Spotify, Apple Music, all of those, SoundCloud, YouTube, all of those.
Lovely, lovely. And if people want to follow you, where do they follow you on socials?
You can follow me on Instagram at Icon for Beats, and yeah.
Number 4, follow me at Dariany Santana. Of course, you got to follow Barcode because this is Barcode Unplugged, and they're keeping us connected while the world is not as connected as we'd like it to be.
Yep.
Thank you so much, Jordan.
No problem.
It's been a pleasure as always.
Thank
I can't wait for your album to drop.
Thank you.